Hello friends, Erling Haaland might be one of the best young strikers that the Premier League has ever seen. With 25 goals in 20 matches, he is set to break almost every record. He has immense pace, he has power, and he has the athleticism that rivals Olympians. So why do I think that Man City are failing him? Because I really do think that that's the case. Join me as we head to the tactics board today to discuss the way that Man City play and why I don't think that suits Erling Haaland and why I think that Man City should be doing more to include him in the squad, to get him up to those higher levels that we all know that he can reach. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it with a like and subscribe if you haven't for more content like this coming very soon. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well so that you don't miss an upload. You don't want to miss what's coming up in the near future. But now, let's talk about how Manchester City are failing Erling Haaland. This is the Manchester City team that played against Tottenham. As you can see, I've got them lined up here. I've got a set of defenders again that they're playing against. This is in the formation that Tottenham played for most of the game. We don't have the attackers because we're focusing on the way that Man City go forwards. We're also focusing on Haaland, and that's where we're going to be driving most of our attention. So apologies, Spurs fans, if you're watching this, because we're not going to be talking about the defensive shape of Spurs. We're going to be talking about the attacking formation of Man City. So how does City play? Well, when we go forwards, we have this almost 4-4-2-ish. Julian Alvarez is something of an enigma for me in this side. The dropping of Kevin De Bruyne by Pep Guardiola was an interesting one. However, it's also one that I don't think actually worked. When we look at the way that Man City played, I don't think there was actually a place for Julian Alvarez in the side. He tried to drop a little bit deeper and come into that number 10 role, but there's never any space. He was always closed down by the nearest central midfielder, and when he wasn't closed down, he ended up dropping far too deep past the likes of Rodri or Bernardo Silva to try and get on the ball and try and make something happen. This essentially just put him out of the game, and occasionally, in one particular moment, I found him dropping past Rodri and then just running round to the other side of the pitch. He then drifted infield again, almost creating an entire circle before laying it off back to Rodri and then moving back into his position. It was a little bit farcical and I just don't think it worked. And it surprises me because I think when you look at Spurs, you could expect what you were going to see. I think you could have expected that Antonio Conte would have set his team up like this and would have been aware to the threat that Man City pose. Let's move this forward on a touch. How do Man City set up for an attack? Well, Bernardo Silva ends up moving into the centre of midfield, just in front of the two central midfielders. And I say the two central midfielders because what happens is Lewis comes in to this central midfield role and essentially sits next to Rodri. And there you have your two centre-backs, the two central midfielders, I should say, and the centre-backs end up moving across. They shuffle across and Kyle Walker moves over and essentially creates a back three. Now immediately I have an issue with this because we need to think about Haaland in the way that he likes to go forward. We also need to think about Haaland's strengths and his real pros going forwards. He's fast, he's quick, he's very tall, and he's very physical, so he's good at winning passes in the air, but both on the ground he's very fast, and if City play fast enough, I think that they could make the most of the way that Erling Haaland plays. Now, one of the best things I think he can really work off is crossing, and Kyle Walker is arguably one of the fastest players in Man City's side, and he's also probably one of the best crossers of the ball, especially when you're getting to that byline area to have the opportunity to cross into the box. So it baffles me why they have Kyle Walker as this third centre-back, why they have Rico Lewis coming in. I mean, I understand they're doing it for a possession point of view. However, I'm not sure what Rico Lewis really added in this game. Going back, he was pretty absent, and in leaving so much space in behind, it really became quite an issue. Kulusevski ended up exploiting this to a massive degree, and a lot of the times Rico Lewis is out of position. This exposed the likes of Nathan Ake, and it caused Man City a whole host of problems. This is where a lot of Spurs' chances came from. It was through the break down the right-hand side. Now, to the defensive point, I can understand why Kyle Walker is there, but if you just move Rico Lewis back into position and you play them like normal fullbacks, I think you're going to get a lot more joy, especially down the sides. You can start getting 1v1 or 2v1 situations. You can get those overloads, and it starts to make things a little bit more simple, not just for Man City as a team, but also for Erling Haaland. we're going to move forwards, because specifically when Erling Haaland is making his move, and he likes to drag a centre back forwards, he likes to bring him out and then spin in behind, and that's exactly what he did on numerous occasions. It was like he was doing some kind of weird training drill where it was him and only him that was the one playing it. Now, Bernardo Silva is currently in the perfect position right here to be utilising the ball at any given moment when Haaland is in space. And a lot of the time, Haaland was making these runs in behind, so it would take a pass straight through the middle or over the top or round the corner just to play it in behind when Haaland eventually drags out that centre-back. If I move that centre-back out to where Haaland would have been, Haaland has the pace to go, and he just understands the game. So the fact that Bernardo Silva had the ball so many times and on so many occasions, he decided instead of playing it through to Haaland, he instead decided to just rotate it round to Lewis, or rotate it through to Grealish, or even do a full 180 and play it through to Mahrez, was... I'm not a Man City fan, but it was extremely frustrating to view. Not to mention the fact that he didn't have any link-up play with Julian Alvarez whenever he needed it. And it just became a little bit mundane. It became a little bit pointless. And you could see the frustration that was on Haaland's face at the fact that they're just not utilising the way that he goes forwards. I'm going to keep Julian Alvarez highlighted in red because I really do think that this could have been the position and the change of player that Man City could really have utilised in the first half. This, as I'm sure everyone will know, is the Kevin De Bruyne position. This is the place where he makes his mark. It's the crosses that he plays into the box from this half channel in front of the box that really makes him very, very dangerous. And to be honest with you, it's only Kevin De Bruyne that manages to see Erling Haaland and his runs. But if Man City themselves, and I'm specifically talking about the main forward-thinking players, could see Haaland's runs, I do believe he would get so many more goals. We can look at the forwards now, and the wingers in particular, with Riyad Mahrez and Jack Grealish. Now, with these two players, they're very good at one-on-one situations. We know how good Jack Grealish specifically is at winning throw-ins. Oh, at winning fouls, I should say. Throw-ins as well, but we're not talking about throw-ins at the moment. But winning fouls in particular. Riyad Mahrez is very good at beating a man as well. He likes to cut inside more often than not, but generally he's very good at beating a man. When they do beat a man, they need to have the opportunity of cutting into the box and then playing that pass across. Part of me believes that because they don't have Raheem Sterling or the likes of Gabriel Jesus anymore at the back post where they would normally be situated, probably around here, part of me believes that Pep Guardiola doesn't want them to do this anymore, and he wants them to retain possession, to be able to find a perfect pass through or a perfect attempt at a shot. That is not going to come about when you're playing a team in a low block. Most teams will play in low blocks against Manchester City because they'll be very aware that they will have the ball. They're not going to play into City's hands. It's ludicrous. So, when you have the ball and you have a player like Erling Haaland with the finesse and the power and the pace of Erling Haaland, you need to desperately utilise him. One of the best positions that you can ever find a striker, literally, is in the middle of the area, jostling and playing with central defenders, making sure that it's difficult for them to really live their lives and making sure it's difficult for them to understand where you're going to be. And the fact that Grealish, in this game in particular, manages to beat Emerson Royal on so many occasions and then doesn't play the pass. He never plays the cross with his left foot or with his right foot. Going down towards the byline is absolutely criminal. I think I saw him twice try to cut inside and then play a cross-field pass round. Just an outside of the foot cross into the box. It was twice I saw this happen. Riyad Mahrez never did it. It's just criminal behaviour. Bernardo Silva ended up jostling around and playing through, moving himself around, and this is a good position to be in. This is what Bernardo Silva's there for. This is what Rico Lewis is there for, to have that midfield stability and allow Bernardo Silva to move himself around and either help the likes of Jack Grealish when he needs to, or go around and help the likes of Riyad Mahrez. It allows fluidity in City's system, and it also enables them to start rotating the ball around. That's absolutely fine. It allows them these passing lanes, and then moving Silva over if he ever needs to. it's absolutely fine. He can help Grealish, he can help work with 2v1 situations. It's absolutely fine. But most of the time, he needs to find the pass through. He needs to find the pass to Haaland. He needs to. It's desperate. He needs to find the channel. And if he doesn't find the channel, then he needs to find a player who's going to find it very quick. Grealish needs to make that cross. Mahrez, if he cuts inside, needs to not shoot. He needs to look for the cross. Because 9 times out of 10, Erling Haaland will win the fight. He's that good. And it baffles me why they are not utilising the pace, the power and the physicality that is Erling Haaland. And it's not to say that Man City don't have the quality. They absolutely do. Why does Mahrez not cut inside, go towards the byline and play a cross on the outside of the edge of the box? Haaland will find the ball. It's very, very simple. And this brings me back to my original point around Kyle Walker. It's the final point that I will make, but it's one that I think is extremely useful in knowing. When you have general fullbacks, and if I move them back here, when you have general fullbacks, you have the ability for 2v1 situations more often than not. If players are willing to make those runs for their wingers, it automatically opens up the pitch for you. You then, as Mahrez or Grealish, have the ability to either, when you have the ball, you have the ability to either cut inside like they would normally, or you can play the pass down to the fullback. It makes it so much more difficult for the defenders to defend against it, and this allows and gives Haaland that little bit of extra time. It gives them a little bit of extra space, and also if you're fully committing players, you can also have a deep lying run from Bernardo Silva to go into the box. This helps out Haaland because it drags another couple of defenders. It drags them towards him and giving Haaland that little bit more space. But you need to play the balls into the box. If you don't, you're never going to score with him. You're never going to give him the ball, and he's always going to struggle. I think the Man City are overcomplicating their own lives, and I think that if they went back to a more simple and stable formation just for a moment to accommodate the player that Erling Haaland is, I think they would get a lot more out of him. That's just my opinion. I do think that he's being underutilised. I do think at the moment, even with his ridiculous goal tally, I do think he's being failed at Man City. I do think there is so much more to Erling Haaland that we are just not seeing because of the formation and because of the way that Man City like to play. I think they need to change. I think they need to alter, and I think they need to adapt. And if they don't, then I think, to be honest, they are wasting and failing Erling Haaland. That's it for today, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave the video with a like and subscribe if you haven't for more content like this coming very soon. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well. You don't want to miss what's coming up in the near future. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on Erling Haaland and Man City. Is Erling Haaland at the correct place to get the most out of his potential? Do Man City need to change to really get the best out of Erling Haaland, or is it something that's just going to work itself out in time? Let me know how you're feeling about it. But like I said, that's it from me for today. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care of yourselves and bye-bye.